For a long time, doctors told me that what I was suffering from was just anxiety, but they never explained it to me. They almost put it in the same category as stress and offered to prescribe me medication. But what I knew with 100% certainty was that this was not stress. My symptoms were very real, and they were physical and extremely intense. It felt like there was something seriously wrong with me. So I kept searching for answers, and eventually I found them. In today's episode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down your anxiety into terms you can understand and then give you the way to free yourself from it. Let's dive in. All right, as you know, your nervous system is designed to handle stress. It's actually very resilient. You can go through very tough situations, could be a breakup, an intense work deadline, or even real physical danger, and your body is designed to recover from that. In other words, you'll be able to experience those highly stressful situations, and then once they're over, your body goes back to feeling normal again. But here's what can happen. Sometimes a stressor is so overwhelming that it pushes your nervous system past its normal capacity. It's almost like it breaks a circuit and your nervous system gets stuck in this high alert overdrive position. For some people, this occurs after their first panic attack. What happens is you experience a panic attack and it's such an intense event that it completely disrupts your nervous system. So even though the panic attack didn't last that long, you are left with a nervous system that's in overdrive. From there, your body starts overreacting to normal stressors. Things that never used to bother you are suddenly causing significant anxiety. It could be that you're running late to a meeting, or you have an awkward conversation with a friend, and it causes you to have intense anxiety coursing through your body. Your brain interprets these everyday moments as if they're life-threatening events, and your body responds accordingly with a racing heart, dizziness, nausea, depersonalization, or any number of anxiety symptoms. It's also worth noting that if your anxiety is really bad, like mine was, you get anxiety without any trigger whatsoever. You can be having heightened, intense anxiety throughout the day without any cause to it. Okay, but why does this happen? Why does your brain keep sending false alarms even when you know you're safe? Well, it all comes down to survival. Your brain's number one job is to keep you alive. And when you're experiencing anxiety, like the one I'm talking about, your nervous system becomes highly sensitized. That means your body has started to engage your survival instincts even when you're not in danger. In other words, your body is acting like there's some immediate physical danger right in front of you. So it can feel impossible to relax. And even minor stressors can feel overwhelming. But again, the reason for that is because your body is stuck in survival mode and in a near constant state of fight or flight. Here's where it gets tricky though. The more you fear these sensations, the more anxiety you're going to experience. So if every time you feel anxious, you panic, you become afraid, and you try to escape these sensations, then your brain learns that these feelings must truly be dangerous. Now, that's the exact opposite of what we want to do. Instead, the way to desensitize your nervous system is to teach our brain that these sensations and these symptoms are not dangerous, that they are not harmful, and they're not threatening. If you were anything like I was, you'd be stopping here and saying, "But Peter, how can I not be scared of these sensations? They do feel harmful and they do feel dangerous." Well, I know that they do. I know how frightening these sensations are, but you need to understand that these symptoms are just a survival response. It is your fight or flight response that is causing these symptoms. So it's not anything wrong with you. It's just a sign of your body in a protective state and ready to fight or flee a threat. It's just adrenaline. That is it. So how do you fix this? How do you get your nervous system to calm back down? Well, first off, let me assure you that it's not about finding the perfect breathing technique, diet, or supplement. Instead, it's about retraining our brain to not fear the sensations. And with time, our nervous system stops engaging the fight or flight response. The way we do this is we change the way we react and we respond to the symptoms themselves. Instead of reacting with fear and tension, you have to convince your brain that you are safe and that these sensations are not dangerous. But again, your brain learns through experience. If every time you feel a symptom, you react with panic, you check your pulse, you Google symptoms, and you avoid certain situations, then your brain takes this as confirmation that these symptoms are dangerous. But alternatively, if you can allow the symptoms to be there without reacting with tension and resistance, if you can continue on with your day even when it's uncomfortable, you begin to rewire your brain. And so what happens is, with a bit of time, your nervous system calms down. It stops engaging the fight or flight response when you're not in any danger. This is exactly why coping strategies don't work. Coping strategies don't allow you to lose your fear of anxiety. Taking ashwagandha or magnesium won't make you any less afraid of your heart palpitations. But experiencing anxiety in the right way will. And to do that, you need to implement the fearless approach. The fearless approach is a step-by-step response to anxiety each and every time you experience it. So when you experience anxiety, I want you to engage the fearless approach and respond to anxiety without fear and without tension. A big component of this is step 2 of the fearless approach, called surrendering to anxiety. When you start feeling anxious, instead of becoming tense, you surrender to the symptoms and let them do whatever they want. And every time you do this, every time you let a symptom exist without reacting in fear, you are teaching your brain that it's not dangerous. You are sending a clear message that these sensations are not threats. And with some time, what happens is you will completely calm down your nervous system and stop experiencing these sensations. If you want to learn more about the fearless approach and the recovery process, I put that in the link below. It's called the 5-Step Cure to Anxiety and Panic Attacks. It's free, so go ahead and download that and reach out to me if you have any questions whatsoever. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.